As it turns out, it is not a Miami Vice recreation, much to my disappointment, but it's actually the story of Dick Chaney, vice president during the George W. Bush administration, and how he managed to circumvent his position for his own ends. So, a quick talk about accuracy. This movie is clearly biased towards the left-wing side of politics, and considering that this is coming in the middle of the Trump administration, yeah, this movie isn't hiding how it feels about the state of 2019 politics, but it also makes it very clear right off the bat that these events aren't accurate, that this is going to have a sense of humour to it, and it is going to be taking it in a more fantastical direction. So every one of those right-wing snowflakes that gets triggered by people making fun of the clown pretending to be the president, maybe skip this one. But at least this film actually lets you know that it's fictional, as opposed to a documentary that sneaks into the secret basement of the Democratic Party to expose their hidden slave change, which they have for some reason. Fiction's fun, right? Dick Chaney, played by Christian Bale, is deliberately lacking in charisma, focusing on how a man like that could work the system so well, with a majority of the film focused on how he built up his connections and then used them to get what he wanted. But even if the charisma isn't really there, the focus is more on the character himself. There's actually a lot of similarities to the Shakespeare play Macbeth, in how he is motivated by his wife when he was pretty much unmotivated, convincing him to get his act together, but ultimately this leads to him transitioning into a villain, which is a very weird comparison for me to make, since later on they directly have him make a Shakespearean speech to outline his intentions like he would do on stage. I'm not entirely sure this movie isn't intentionally messing with me. Fortunately though, while Chaney is lacking in charisma making up for it with characterization, we do get that complemented by a great supporting cast. They have a lot of personality and bring a sense of entertainment to the movie. Steve Carell as Donald Rumsfeld is especially a lot of fun with his rude attitude, while Amy Adams plays Lynn Chaney with a sense of drive that her husband clearly lacks. Also, it looks like Lois finally traded in Clark for Batman. But the absolute best part about this film has to be Sam Rockwell as Old W. Seriously, this is one of those castings that you don't really know you want until you hear it, like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. And then it just clicked in your head like, why didn't I think of this before? The film uses editing to great effect, mostly to show how a character is thinking, or provide metaphors like casting a fishing line to show him baiting Bush into doing what he wants. In fact, fishing is a constant metaphor in this, down to the lore being used in the backdrop of the credits. It kind of ties into this idea of patience, casting your lure, and waiting for the right moment to strike. The humor is very self-aware, mostly using the film itself to deliver jokes. Like at one point it has the film seemingly wrapping up halfway through and then rolling the credits, with the text talking about how the Cheneys never entered politics after the Reagan administration, and how Chaney apparently ran Ironman marathons. It's around that point where you see, oh, this is where you're going with this. And it is hilarious. It reminds me a lot of I, Tonya from last year, in its style and its deliberately dubious narrator. A joke that I actually missed because it was in the middle of the credits was apparently there was like this focus group going on and one of the people starts getting angry at the movie for being biased. That's the kind of humour you're dealing with here. In conclusion, Vice has a great lead cast and a very interesting style. Altogether, it's a 9 out of 10. It doesn't try to hide its political leanings, so provided that you aren't easily triggered by that kind of stuff, this is a solid watch. And a constant reminder that truth can be stranger than fiction. Though yeah, this film is clearly fiction. Take care now, bye bye then.